Ladies and gentlemen, you'll have to excuse us for our tardiness. We have missed last week's episode. We recorded it, and it basically devolved into a massive planning sesh because the Oosh Bros are hitting the road in April of next year. We are coming to the UK, and we are going to be having a fantastic time. This knowledge was dropped on us recently. So we've got very little time to plan, but we are very much looking forward to hitting the streets of London, the streets of Manchester, and potentially surrounding countries if we have the time. But in all cases, my name is BB Malloy. Welcome along, and joined with me as always is my co-host Louis. And how's things, man?
Things are chugging along, dude. Things are chugging along. It's coming to the busy part of the year. There just seems to be every weekend there always seems to be something to do, which is cringe. Because all I want to do is stay at home and play video games. But unfortunately, my services are required by multiple people.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. No, I'm definitely in that boat right there along with you. I feel like the closer you do get to silly season, the more people want to see you as well. So it's not so much just that there's stuff to do, it's that there's people that like, you're almost required to be places.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's my life currently. Just work and planning and things coming up, and it's all a bit rude. You know?
Yeah, I think so.
The worst part is my internet's still shit, so I can't even play online games. I have to wait until I can get that sorted.
Yeah, that is quite a big kick in the nuts, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always got the Notion page up for the Oosh Bros UK trip. It seems to be at the forefront of my mind for most things. I'm just So we're at 141 days until takeoff, which is 99 work days. So we've passed the 100 work day threshold, which is great. There's many things that we have planned. At least loosely planned, and a bunch of other stuff that we are just looking forward to in general, I think. But
yeah,
we could sit here and talk about this UK trip all night, or we could dive into what's been happening.
Indeed, there's been a few things going on.
Yeah, many a time. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first thing straight off the bat is that 40 monkeys escaped a lab in the US, and
I read about that.
Yeah, people are being warned to basically just don't approach them and things like that. It's kind of the subplot for Planet of the Apes.
I was going to say it's giving rise to the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it's giving Caesar is home.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, that's so. Once they have guns, then I think it's DEFCON 1.
I also came across someone whose take was a little bit more nuanced. Was they are entering their Stone Age. So they're learning the skills necessary to create tools, and like they've already been doing that. You know, like in order to get into nuts and things like that, they get a big rock, and smash their way into Brazil nuts or whatever, and they've started learning behaviors from what they've seen, whether it be from tourists or humans or what have you. So they're starting to enter their phase of. Well, I mean, as much as a lot of people might deny it, there's, the evolutionary phase. But, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I have never actually, seen a monkey up close. Like, they're at the zoo, and they're around. When it comes to, if you go to Wellington Zoo, there's chimps and gorillas and other bits and pieces. But I haven't, seen one up close. Like, a lot of people that have gone to Bali have obviously seen them.
Yeah.
It'd
A lot
be
of Asian
interesting to
countries.
see. Oh, lots of Asian countries. I would be interested to see exactly how hostile they are, especially if they were approached. I don't know. These are lab monkeys as well, so they're probably not to be fucked with.
Yeah, I'm just more curious to know what they're gonna do. You know, they're lab tested, so they're not gonna be like other monkeys. They'll be a bit altered.
Bit
So
Cobra-ish.
we could be looking at whatever the villain's name in the DC comics was, that giant ape.
Oh,
Can't
Gorilla
remember.
Grodd.
Yeah, could be
Yeah,
looking at that coming up in the near future.
that's true. Well, I mean, look,
Yeah.
in the here and now, there's other fantastic things that have gone on this week. I don't know if you'll remember the Olympics. It was on, like, there was one free channel that we could watch the Olympics on. I ended up falling into the habit of watching it quite a lot. But Rachel Gunn, the famous Australian breakdancer known as RayGun, has quit competitive breakdancing officially after her Olympic performance was mocked. My question is, why now? Why not 20 years ago? I don't know if you've seen that performance, but there's nothing professional about it. And then a whole bunch of stuff came to the surface, like her husband is the CEO or the president of Breakdancing Australia or whatever it is, and they intentionally made it hard for actually talented younger people to qualify for the Olympics so that she could get a spot, and then she did it and made an absolute
Yeah.
ass of herself, and then
Yeah.
wondered why. She got a score of 0, so technically the lowest score ever. That because of her, they are now taking breakdancing out of the Olympics for next time, and she is
Yeah.
essentially like, she's ruined an entire sporting event by being useless.
Yeah.
So this came as no surprise to me at all to know that she was going to be retiring. To be honest, it's too little, too late. You've come in, you've wrecked the sport for an entire nation, nay, the entire world, on an Olympic
Yeah.
stage, and this is that's just how you're going to deal with it. I just quit now. It's okay.
Yeah, I saw something that she posted. This may have been like a week or two ago now. But she was like, do you think you're a better breakdancer than me? Why don't you come and challenge me, and you'll win $10,000 or something? And I swear I saw that like a week or two ago. So clearly that didn't go well, given that she's now retiring from her passion, I guess, because apparently she was like a breakdancing teacher or something at a university or some sort of
Oh
instructor.
no, she she told everybody that she had a PhD in movement. That was what, like, she's not
Ooh.
she's not a teacher or anything. She just said she has a PhD in movement, which is
You can get a PhD
so
in that?
cringe. No, you can't. That's just her being like,
Right.
waxing poetic about how she feels about herself breakdancing, and it's so cringe. It's beyond cringe.
It's real sad. It's just sad. It's
It
like
is very sad.
it's it's just I just don't understand why she had to do it. You know, like
I mean, if you're gonna be, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say because a lot of foreigners will mix up Australians with New Zealanders, so we will get the sharp end of the stick as well, thinking, "Oh, you know RayGun? She's one of you
Oh,
fucking Aussies."
yeah.
No, she's not one of us, man. She's her own thing. She's
To
her
be
own
fair,
delusional thing.
we've got Paris. I want to say Goebbels, but that sounds very not correct. She's like a Maori professional dancer who's done stuff for like Justin Bieber and.
Oh yeah, I know.
But she's
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if her last name is actually Goebbels, but yeah, because no relation to Joseph, I'm assuming. But
She was in the Sorry music video.
that's right. She
Well, there was
choreographed the whole thing.
yeah, good song too.
And it's kind of like, we there's clearly a talent here for dancers, which has always been the case. But then if this is Australia's example, it's pretty sad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is sad. But that's because Aussies barely know how to dance. All they know how to do is put shrimps on the barbie, I believe.
It's
As crocodile.
that's such a tired stereotype.
It's either that or underarm bowling.
Yeah, but that's
And
strictly
they'll always be like, "Oh, why don't you get over it?" It's like, why did you do it in the first place?
Yeah, we could have won, and that would have all we had to do was hit one for six, and you knew that our batsman was on fire. I don't even like cricket, and I'm still gutted about that.
Aussies know how to do one thing well, and that's cheat. That's my opinion.
Agreed. Okay, speaking of fantastical things, I came across this story and I was a little bit dumbfounded, but it's so indicative of the human condition, right? So the headline reads, "Large crowd duped into attending non-existent Halloween parade in Dublin." And apparently
Excellent.
a bunch of people had used TikTok and Twitter and Instagram to tell the people of Dublin there was going to be this huge Halloween parade and that, like everyone should turn up and it's going to be great and whatever else. And you look at the photos and the streets are absolutely lined with Dubliners waiting for this random parade to start. And then the police had to disperse the crowds because literally hundreds of people turned up, potentially thousands. And it's and no one, there was nothing. It was all a hoax. And I feel kind of stink really because there's always jokes about Irish people being dumb. That was the stereotypical joke back in the day. And I mean, if you needed proof, and I'm not by no means am I saying that Irish people are dumb, but it's pretty easy to fool a lot of them all at once. That seems to be the case.
Yeah. I think that's hilarious personally. Just the fact that it wasn't a small amount of people that fell for it. It was a lot.
Oh, dude! So I'm looking at a photo right now of people in line on O'Connell Street in Dublin, and there is easily, just from this one picture alone, there is easily 300 to 400 people, and they're all looking down the road like, "Oh my God, what's coming? Do you like a bit of Halloween?" Yeah. Oh no, what's coming? Do you like a bit of Halloween? Do you? I love me a bit of Halloween. Bollocks! There's no Halloween parade.
Where are the floats?
All right, love. How was the Halloween
scary
parade?
monsters.
I don't want to talk about it. Oh my God! Yeah, I do feel sorry for them though.
Someone that tries to jump scare me, I'll duke it out.
Fisticuffs. So this one,
I don't feel bad for them. I think it's quite funny, but don't believe everything you see online.
No, I've been trying to tell my children that they shouldn't believe everything they see on YouTube Shorts because they whop out with some absolute doozies, and you have to tell them, hey, that's just a YouTube short. That's someone either theorizing or it's satire. Don't believe everything you see.
What do they hit you with? I want to hear some of these.
Disney conspiracies is a big one.
Yes.
So
yes.
So
have they heard that Walt Disney's actually frozen in the statue? Is that one of the ones they've heard?
Nah, it goes.
Damn.
It's less deep than that. So it's, Riley's mum in, Inside Out is actually also Andy's mum from Toy Story.
Oh, and fuck off.
Yeah. So this was the theory. So the theory was that
man,
she had Riley, and then her and the husband got divorced, and then she moved to wherever Toy Story is based and had more children, and with someone else, and the whole thing was just.
So the Toy Story mum is the older version of the Inside Out mum. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes. Yeah,
Even though the
so
technology is so different in both of those movies, I'm
yeah,
pretty sure
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure in the first Toy Story they have a visible VHS player, and I'm pretty sure in the Inside Out movie they have some sort of mobile device or
Oh,
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's just, but trying to reason with them and say, hey, look, don't believe everything you see online. They just can't seem to grasp that concept. Like, why would
Man,
someone lie online? So,
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if my kids get absolutely scammed at some stage,
yeah,
and out of lots and
yeah.
lots of money. Oh, someone very close to us who I will not be naming until after the episode finished. They got scammed out of 400 buckarooskies on Facebook Marketplace.
Wasn't it 5?
Oh, I thought it was four. Oh no, no, you're right. I think it was five actually.
Yeah, so it was a two-parter.
Oh no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he made one payment and then he paid the rest. Oh,
Yeah,
I know he's not listening to this podcast. Like he's yeah that no one from that side of the family listens to this podcast.
no.
But yeah,
Well,
big ups to you, my guy. I hope it gets sorted because that is horrendous. The fact that you
I
believe
can
that,
just
but all good.
I can hear the Seinfeld music as he got the message like
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
you've been yeah, rough man.
Oh, that is rough, bro. That sucks.
Yeah, that's rough riding.
Ah, so the other thing that I came across, I don't know if you've seen this. It was a pretty sad day on the internet, to be completely honest. So there was a squirrel, and his
Oh
name
yeah,
his name was damn it, I forget his name. Where is it? I think it was it Peanut Butter? No, it's just Peanut.
yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the squirrel's name was Peanut. Him and his dude, they're like, he had this like human 53,000 sorry 555 Jesus Christ 533,000 followers on Instagram. Good innings. And he could be seen wearing a cowboy hat, nibbling on waffles, jumping through hoops, and sitting on his 34-year-old owner's shoulder.
yeah.
Apparently, due to some anonymous complaints, they seized the squirrel and euthanized it. And apparently, the dude has come forward and said, I was treated as if I was a drug dealer and they were going for drugs and guns. So they've raided this poor dude's house because of his squirrel.
Mm.
And they've just, nearly 2 days later, the conservationists found the squirrel sitting on my porch, half of its tail missing with a bone sticking out, and determined it could not survive in the wild. So it wasn't even seized. They just smoked it, and
they got out the riot gear and just started beating it like it was Rodney King.
oh
That's
my
rough.
god, that's so horrible. Like, it's no different. Like, pets are pets, rodents or not. Like, if someone bowled up, right, and you know how much Percy means to me, I would go to war for that cat. Like,
Yeah,
if someone
as would
rolled
I.
up and was just like, oh, we've had multiple anonymous complaints about Percy and we've come to put her down. It's like, I know you're a government official. I know that you have like, a warrant and jurisdiction and all that kind of stuff to come and take my pet. But you're gonna have to catch these hands first. Like you are not taking
Yeah,
my child, my
yeah,
my true love. And, that's Percy. I raised her. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
that similar sort of buzz where this guy's like, some of the comments this dude's chucked out since the squirrel passed is like, well, internet, you won, because like people were filing anonymous complaints about the welfare of this animal, and just couldn't leave well enough alone. Just had to
Mm,
had to mess with this poor dude. So big RIP to Peanut.
yeah. Speaking of RIPs, Quincy Jones.
Big Q, yeah, that's massive. Like,
Yeah,
91 years
sad.
old, fantastic innings. Like, 91 is huge. If you
Yeah.
make it past your 80s, you've smashed it, I reckon. Like, that's huge. Uh Obviously survived by Rashida Jones, his incredibly
Mm,
attractive child. Um There's one other sister as well, I think.
I wasn't
Both in
aware.
there. What, you weren't aware? Just Rashida Jones.
No, I just I just every time I see her, I think of the "I Love You" Man when she's asking Paul Rudd why he's doing an Irish accent when he's trying to be a
Oh
Jamaican,
yeah, when
slapping
he's
the
trying to be
bass, man.
Jamaican. Yeah.
I'm slapping the bass, man.
I mean, Nepo baby is hell, of course. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
kind of just how Hollywood is. But she does have acting chops, and she's hot. So like that, it kind of makes up for itself.
yeah,
But yeah, worked with Frank Sinatra, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder. Like what? Like it's so hard to think. Like apparently he didn't like the Beatles at all. That was his one drawback for me. Was he was just like, nah, Beatles was shit, and that was his final say on it.
unfortunate for Quincy Jones to have a
Yeah,
bad taste.
that's true. It's yeah. I mean, we can't get everything right. You can produce as
Yeah,
many Michael Jackson albums as you like, but realistically, if you hate the Beatles, then you're not really aware of what Michael Jackson has to offer in the first place, right?
yeah. Like
So,
I watched an interview and he was talking about working with Michael Jackson on Off the Wall,
oh yeah,
and apparently Michael Jackson was like attempted Michael Jackson impersonation here, and it was like, "Hey man, I don't know why you're putting these violins. It's putting off my groove." Like he's the Emperor from Emperor's New Groove,
yeah.
and Quincy Jones is like, you better sit the fuck down. You don't know who you're talking to." And it's the diddle 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 diddle, and
Oh
it's
wow,
incredible that Michael Jackson tried to get rid of that, and it's like man, what a terrific artist, questionable human being.
yeah.
But tried to question Quincy Jones's music knowledge and abilities. Like,
I saw a video that I think was it Spike Jones, Spike Lee, Spike somebody,
the guy,
African
the New York
American
Knicks fan.
director. Yeah, African American director wears
Yeah,
glasses. I'm pretty sure
Spike Lee.
Lee, right? Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure Spike Jones is white anyway. But yeah, so
Yeah,
Spike Lee put up a video. Well, he didn't put up the video, but it was an interview with him, and he was sitting in a room, and there was like press that had come in all throughout the day, and they'd been there for hours and hours and hours. It was him and Michael Jackson, and I'm pretty sure it was Spike Lee. It might have been somebody else, but apparently, like the entire day, Michael Jackson had done his like, thank you so much for your kind words,
yeah,
like his Michael
yeah.
Jackson voice. But as soon as everybody left and it was just the brothers in the room, it was like, man, I thought those motherfuckers were never gonna leave. Like apparently his voice like dropped like several octaves, and he was just like, no,
Nice.
fuck this. I suppose you'd kind of have to. Like if you
Yeah,
went through all that skin stuff, you'd had that much plastic surgery, and you looked like a white dude. Yes, you probably you look like a Studio Ghibli character, but like, a white dude is what he looked like towards the end. It's kind of wild to think that that person could have like a full on African American voice,
yeah,
if that makes sense. So like, obviously, he would have to hide it pretty well. Um, the other thing I found out too, and this was recently, I don't know, I think I made a video about this on TikTok or Instagram or something, but one thing I found out was that when he died, he was what, like 59 or something? He was not very old.
no, I don't even think was he 50? He must have
He
been.
might have been 50, but yeah, so but whatever age he was, apparently the exact halfway point in his life, like to the day, was the day that he lit his hair on fire in that Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, I remember
Was the
watching
exact
your Instagram reel about that.
Oh yeah, so it was the exact halfway point in his life was when he lit his hair on fire, which
Yeah,
is extremely coincidental. But if you're a famous person who gets up to a lot of famous person shit, there's a chance that you're going to do something notable on any given day, right? So it just so happened to be the halfway point of his life, but it's just another interesting
yeah.
anecdote. What else did I have here? Pompeii DNA evidence suggests victims not as they seemed. So apparently, when the volcano erupted, there was all of these essentially fossilized human beings, and they were like, "Oh, it's a mother and son," and they're embracing, and it's like apparently these two people were just like strangers. This adult and this kid were strangers,
Oh,
but they were like, "Oh my god, what are we gonna do?" And then, obviously, this dude's just been like, "Come here, man, it's gonna be all right," and yeah.
my hero is still the guy that was just getting one off before he was
Oh, dude,
encased.
yeah. The one that's just
Yeah,
stroking his bone. What a legend. Like,
honestly,
in
like
times of crisis.
yeah, you just got to get one out. Like if that were to happen in this day and age, and you weren't near any loved ones, and you couldn't get a hug in, you're gonna you're gonna get one off the wrist. I think it's just the only way to
Bro.
go. You
Honestly,
know?
like that man will live in infamy for anyone who is worth their
Yeah,
salt. The fact that is your thought process, though, like you hear this huge boom in the distance, right? There is a huge plume of ash and smoke, and your house is getting pelted with bits of volcanic rock. And your
yeah.
first instinct, knowing full well that you can't outrun the volcano, is just to rip
Just
one out, just
get one.
right then and there.
Yeah,
And as you become covered in ash and soot and you essentially get fossilized, you are mid stroke of bone. And I have to applaud this man, because if there's one way to go out, it's either that way
it's
or the way
that.
that Genghis
Yeah,
Khan went out. And Genghis Khan went out mid sesh with a concubine.
yeah. Well, there's apparently. Well, speaking of Genghis, there's a rumor that because he died mid sex due to a seizure. But there is always conspiracy theories. Apparently, one of the theories is that the concubine actually had a knife up the old
No.
ways, and when he went to go and smash back, he basically just split his wang in half
Oh,
and then
no
died that way.
way.
Yeah,
If that's
because
true, that is actually wild.
I was reading about it, and the the guards that were outside, like while he was smashing back, were waiting for ages. Like, bro's been in there for ages. He doesn't usually last this long. And sure enough, they go in there, and he's just dead on this lass, who I think also died. But yeah, that old Genghis, isn't he like related to at least one in every 10?
I actually can't remember the stats on that, but I know that he is related to a metric shitload of people on the planet. Plus,
Yeah.
not only did he, spread his seed quite liberally, as it were, he also helped to bring the overall temperature down, like the Earth's temperature.
Yeah, because he killed that many people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
So
is
he
yeah.
was a climate warrior and a baby boomer. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, when you're
Which is
single
strange.
handedly responsible for that, it's that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Okay, I've opened up my other set of notes here, and there's three updated stories. So 43 monkeys remain on the run from the South Carolina lab. CEO thinks they're having an adventure, and then there's the
Stay
next
strong,
headline is
Kings.
says, but one monkey recovered safely. 42 others remain on the lam from South Carolina lab, and then 24 more monkeys that escaped from the South Carolina lab are recovered
Yes.
unharmed. So it's they're obviously out
Wow.
there just having the best time, but I feel like they want to go home at some stage as well. There's probably not a huge amount of food out there in South Carolina.
Let
There's
Caesar
lots of
go home.
Republicans there too, and they all have guns. So it's probably best, probably
Yeah.
safer in the cages, to be honest.
Oh yeah, most Americans with guns will see someone with a darker complexion and be like, well, guess it's time. And they'll just fire away because that's their main, for some reason, their first reaction is to not talk, is to shoot. And it's like,
Yeah,
cool.
straight from the hip.
Yeah. Big iron on the hip.
The America's gun laws are just so strange to me.
There's just none there. It's like the fact that, like the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting, for example, that kid had Asperger's, and yet somehow he was able to acquire a gun. It just Oscar Pistorius, bro had no legs, was still somehow able to acquire a gun. You know,
He was South African though, I think.
Wasn't he living in the US though?
Oh, he might have been. I don't know, but like in South Africa, you probably do need to carry a gun.
I still my favorite Oscar Pistorius impression is the Jim Jeffries Netflix special. He's like, "Who am I? I'm Oscar Pistorius, the greatest Blade Runner that has ever been." And then he like crawls to his safe to get out his blades. Oh, good on you, Jim.
What else we got here?
Oh, actually, randomly speaking of the name Jim, this happened a while ago now, but the Australian Office released.
I haven't actually seen it yet.
Yeah, I don't think you need to. I haven't watched it, but from what I've read and what I've heard, it is like, it's, I don't know what it's just. It's The Office, but with terrible Australian comedy, like,
Right.
It just like I personally don't know why they tried. Like you don't need to try and recreate The Office. It was already done technically. Just leave it as is. It was already done super well by the Americans.
Be a cash grab. Yeah, like I feel like it's going to be a cash grab, right? Like that's pretty much all there is to it. Like someone tried to show me the Auntie Donna boys.
I actually quite like those boys.
I don't get it. And it's not, there are parts of it that are funny, but it's like I don't know. It's almost too silly, you know, like but I'll sit there and watch Python, or I'll listen to the Goons or whatever, but there's nuance to that. There's like there's you know, it's a joke that's written, whereas this is kind of like listening to watching the Auntie Donna boys. There's no joke that's written. It's just nonsensical. Like it's all non sequitur jokes. They just say and do random shit because that, you know, like the shock value is funny. It's like gross out humor in the epic movies of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I just never wrapped my head around it because I don't know. I never saw the appeal.
Yeah. Those movies crack me up too. Her getting on the motorbike and then it like cutting to this big black dude as her stunt double.
Oh yeah, with the wig on and everything.
Yeah. I like the Auntie Donna boys. I like
as well.
I like some of their bits. I like some of their songs as well. But yeah, because they were quite big on YouTube before they got their own Netflix show, which was kind of where most of their stuff came from. And on YouTube, that shit sells like hotcakes. But you know, I like the Auntie Donna boys. I think they're quite humorous. And I also like the epic movie and the superhero movie.
The superhero movie I didn't mind, but that's because I saw it as a teenager. So looking back on it was probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Moving slightly along, the original ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz are for sale nearly 2 decades after they were stolen, and apparently 20 years ago when they were stolen, these were the original ones that Judy Garland wore in the movie. So they look to just have sequins on them, a little bit of a red bow going on, but apparently the thief back in 2005 could swore black and blue that they were actual ruby slippers, so he nicked them. And again, Americans just doing American stuff, man, and it's so hard not to take the piss out of them. Like, a complete oversight on our part. Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States.
Yeah, there is some shit going on. So there's
How is that not the first thing we fucking talked about?
I was waiting for you to mention it. So
True.
there's been a few things going on. So he won the popular vote by 3 million votes. A lot of people are saying that's rigged because he lost the popular vote in the 2016 election but won the electoral vote.
He won a lot of people over, though.
That was true. There was stories of him... not stories of him. There were stories of like the mail-in voters. Basically, their votes were like cast incorrectly. They thought they voted for Kamala Harris, but instead it showed up as Donald Trump. Then there would be people that would like go in to vote and they would enter their name and it would say they've already voted when they hadn't. So it's like it's all a little bit iffy. Apparently Elon Musk helped. That fucking ice cream cone. Apparently he went and he was trying to help with the election, put millions into Trump's campaign, when I'm pretty sure there's actually a limit on how much you can donate to a political campaign, but I'm not sure if that rule still exists.
He found ways around it. So that he went to a rally and was basically like, hey, if I read your name out of the people that registered to... Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Make you feel some type of way.
You're gay. You're a little gay ass bitch. Viber. So he found ways around it, did he?
So good. So, the way that Elon Musk had approached this is he was picking random people out in the crowd and being like, if I read your name off this like registered list, you win $1 million. And people would be brought out of the crowd and he would hand them these massive checks being like, you've won $1 million, which kind of, that ebbs on the side of fucked up. Because like you can't just, obviously you can't donate these millions to Donald Trump's campaign. But if your philanthropy is seen to be on behalf of Donald Trump, you're essentially helping the campaign regardless. A lot of people. I watched that election live stream for 5 straight hours. It was like a train wreck that I couldn't look away from. I was supposed to go to, where was I supposed to be going? I can't remember where it was, but I put it off until the very last minute so that I could keep watching the election. God, what day was it on? Was it this week or last week? No, it must have been last week, and it was on a Wednesday, so it would have been Twilight Football. I didn't end up going. I didn't even end up going because I was that invested in the election results. I just sat there and watched it. So it was sort of like, I don't know, I was just enthralled. It was like a train wreck. You know it's going to be ugly, but you just can't look away. And I kept coming back and forth from the room, and I was watching the race to 270, and then he won, and I was just like, what is this? What is going on? But it's, apparently what won a lot of people over was the economy. He
knows fuck all. He knows dick.
Which is the worst part, because during his presidential campaign, the economy was actually in one of the worst states it's been in all of America's history. This is like, it's not like he came in and fixed it. He's a businessman, so they think they're going to run it like a business, right? But again, this is a testament to Americans not thinking about shit before they do it. The whole world is in a recession. It's not just you guys. Like, the fact that you think that he's going to come in and just immediately save the day because he's Donald Trump. it goes to show how little research you're going to do over your own stuff. Like, inflation is up in this country by 9%, right? We are very, very broke, and it's showing when it comes to the exchange rate of the dollar to anything from like US dollars to Great British pounds. I think we're at 42 cents on the dollar, which is very, very low. Obviously not as low as it was in the 90s. It got down to, at one point in the 90s, it got down to 23 cents on the dollar. And 23 pence on the dollar, because the exchange goes the other way. But it's not going to fix itself, right? It's not going to just automatically, because Donald Trump's president, it's going to fix itself. What did he say? My first 24 hours in office, I'm going to end the war in Gaza or Ukraine. Either one of those, and it's not happened. And I don't think it will either.
Well, he's not in office
one
yet.
thing. No, he's president-elect, of course, but like it's, these are the moves that you can start to make. But it's during his campaign, instead of answering questions, like hard-hitting questions, he would just stop and dance. Like you can see his advisors physically slapping their foreheads when he said some of the shit that he wasn't supposed to say.
Yeah.
Like trying to force a cosign out of Joe Rogan on Joe Rogan's podcast in order to try and get in with the youths. Like, this man is a disgrace. The problem is, and this is something that I didn't actually think about, but I chucked up on Facebook, on my personal page. It was like, America, what have you done? And the amount of Trump supporters in my friends list that came out of the woodwork and was just like, they did the right thing, and like started arguing in the comments between liberals and conservatives.
You imagine that?
Oh my god!
The businessman that's going to fix America's broken economy has been bankrupt 6 times. He's convicted of 37 felonies. He's a convicted sex offender. He literally cheated on his wife 9 months after their kid had been born. He's like, how does he speak to family values when he's been divorced 3 times? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. He doesn't know what a fucking tariff is. Apparently, the search for tariffs exponentially exploded in the US because people are like, wait, I should really know what a fucking tariff is.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, you can't fucking, like, the more tax you put on a global export, the more expensive it's going to be, meaning the global economy is going to crash because people are like, it's going to be too expensive to buy fucking anything and import anything into any country. It's like,
I feel like there's going to be a pushback at some stage, right? Like there's already a bunch of people that are like, well, I didn't vote for him. Like there's more people that are saying, well, I didn't vote for him than people that are actually coming forth. But there's a bunch of like closet Trump supporters that don't understand that, the economy isn't just going to be fixed, and that, there is a recession going on, and this shit's going to hit hard, and inflation's a bitch, and that's just how shit goes. But if they just push the envelope and, vote for the guy, then, he might fix the economy. I will say, for some of the stuff that Kamala's whopped out with during the course of her campaign, I look back at some of her comments and go, oh, I don't know if I agree with that either. During I don't know if it was a press conference or a rally or whatever, she was outside and it was cold, and she said something to the effect of, how dare we say Merry Christmas? But I feel like that might have been taken out of context. I feel like she might have been talking about something else. But they took that clip and they were like, remember who you're voting for. And it was like, how, it's Trump being like, when I'm president, anyone can say Merry Christmas. It's free speech. And then the next clip is Kamala being like, how dare we say Merry Christmas, with no context or follow-up. So in the moment, I was like, okay, I don't agree with that at all. Merry Christmas is Merry Christmas. I'm not a religious person, but my entire life it's been Merry Christmas. I'm not going to resort to saying Happy Holidays because it might hurt someone's feelings. I don't give a fuck about your feelings, mate. Like, that's just, unfortunately, facts don't care about your feelings. And as heartless as that sounds, I try my best to be the best version of myself and the most empathetic person I can be, but don't fuck with my values and don't fuck with my traditions because it makes like it might offend you or it might make you feel bad. Like I'm sorry, I don't care about that. I'm still going to say Merry Christmas at my house, and if people if I'm out in public, I'll just say Merry Christmas.
The silver lining I can think of is that he's 78 currently, so there's no way that he'll get voted in for a second term because the geezer's going to be 82 by the time that rolls around. To put it into context, Joe Biden is 80 something.
Yeah,
and he's gone. He's gone.
Burgers. Bro. Yeah,
he's on
the
last beach.
Year or so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the beach. But yeah, that's my thinking. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump gets impeached for again. He's been impeached twice, yet somehow he's become the 47th president of these United States. I don't know why I said these, because we're not there.
Those United States.
Those United States.
Them their United States.
I've been listening to a podcast about past American elections and just how incredibly similar every election kind of becomes. Like the amount of backdoor deals, the people that are in the most powerful people aren't the ones like the president or a prime minister. It's always like
BlackRock.
It's not even like governors or anything. It's like people that are like president of the conventions or
that's what I'm saying. Like the people that control the money. So BlackRock, like the dudes at BlackRock are the ones that tell the country how to behave because they have all the resources. That's essentially that.
Like JP Morgan, for example, he was he basically pulled America out of one of its recessions in the late 1800s, I believe, because he bought all the gold at a discounted price or something, which gave him a stupid amount of power because he pulled America out of it from the depths of hell pretty much, and he still wielded that power up until the day he died pretty much.
Yeah, what's that name? The very, very powerful American family.
Rothschilds,
yes. Their great granddaddy bought 85% of America. Literally bought the land of 85% of America fair and square to help them through another tough time and essentially cemented their place in American business. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that we will never get to see. There's stuff that goes on that we will never get to know, and if you start talking about it at any length, you just look and sound like a conspiracy theorist because it's not general knowledge that's public. And it's public if you look for it, but it's not as easily accessible as people make it out to be. So
I'm currently
I am.
The episode I'm up to currently is FDR's election. So when
that's a president I can get behind.
While he was governor of New York, and then he became the Democratic nominee for president, beating Alfred Smith, I believe his name was, or Albert Smith.
Yep.
And then going up against Herbert Hoover, who was they called him the master of emergencies. There was a flood in Mississippi. It was basically all the levees breaking. So, good song.
Shout out
when the levee breaks. Yeah. And it was basically and it was because it was there was the Great Depression of '29 where Herbert Hoover kind of lost control of the country because he didn't handle the economic crisis all that well. And then FDR came in his wheelchair. And said, "Hey, look, guys, let me fix this." And then, sure enough, he had 4 consecutive terms.
Yeah, dude was different gravy, man.
Yeah, he was like he wasn't the first president to campaign with the radio, but he was one of the first to just like talk to the American people. Yeah, he was like for the State of the Union address. I think he was one of the first to use the radio to his advantage. Which is why he lasted so long and died in office.
Yeah.
But and on the podcast they have his radio messages playing, and it's incredible to listen to him because the bro's got like a silky voice. Even through old 30s technology, you can hear how powerful he was. You know?
Yeah, they have that whole, like, especially that time period. It was like a transatlantic accent, so it wasn't strictly American. It was very well enunciated, and it was very well rounded words, and they were pronounced like. Katharine Hepburn was a prime example of that as well. She was a friend of FDR's and a master of the transatlantic accent. And it was just that way of speaking, and it has that sort of 30s/40s charm to it.
Yeah.
Which has always been really, really cool. And you don't have to resort to being like, you're going to come with us now, see? Like, not everyone sounds like they're running guns for Al Capone. Which is,
It's the, I promise to faithfully execute the office of these United States to the best of my ability.
Despite the fact
for the American people.
I have no use of my legs. I can't use them.
Well, he actually could walk. He could walk. But he just, it was really painful for him, so he just chilled in a wheelchair.
Yeah. I'm assuming that he would save his leg strength for when he had to tap that ass.
When he made an impassioned speech to his missus.
Yeah.
I will faithfully execute
that
the
pussy.
office. Yeah.
He was a cunning linguist.
I present to you myself to faithfully execute that pussy. Amen.
My fellow Americans.
Yeah.
Here is my schmeat.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, jumping well away from America at this point. Something
and presidential sex.
Jumping away from presidential sex ever so briefly. So obviously with this UK trip, we're thinking about branching out into Europe. Pretty safe to say. And we're looking at Eurostar to Paris, maybe £50 return. Always good. But we are also looking to go to either Italy, Spain, or Germany. These are the three like heavy hitters, right? Apparently, Rome itself is under some like major construction at the moment, to the point where
not bene.
It is not bene at all. It is nuck bene, my guy.
Nah.
But the Trevi fountain, the one where you're supposed to flick coins into it and it's supposed to bring you good luck, and it's just the most gorgeous fountain. It's all hand carved and shit, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna download Duolingo though.
We'll learn what language.
I'm gonna try and learn both Italian and Spanish,
just in case we go to either of those places.
Well, yeah, just so I can like I don't know, speak some truths, you know. And I'll probably if we do go to Italy and we go to Florence, I'm just going to be calling out like, ran up that building, jumped from that rooftop, you know, because Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood are set in Florence. So,
dude, if we're set on Italy, I'm keen on Italy. Like that's my number one pick, and I'd be keen on Florence, Vienna, Rome if we have time. Like if we can squeeze in 2 days in Italy, 3 days at max. But I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
I'd give up the trip to Paris just to spend more time in Italy if we can. And just because of the culture, the food, like it'd be amazing. Anyway, getting back to the Trevi Fountain, they've drenched it, right? And then, is it right? Drenched, drained. They've taken the water out of the fountain,
Drained.
and drained. Okay, and instead of having the water in the fountain, because tourists are stupid and can't fucking help themselves, they've got like a 10-foot by 4-foot pool that's set up in front of the fountain behind some like scaffold gates, so people can still flick their coins towards the Trevi Fountain. But it's this like press board and PVC pool that's got like a filter and stuff. It's not for any purpose. They've just knocked it together so tourists can still flick their coins in.
Yeah.
Which is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen. Like it's not.
Yeah. People still try to drink that water too.
Why the fuck would you drink it?
Like, because people are fucking stupid. There was a guy at Disneyland that was like focused on trying to drink all like the water out of like every Disneyland fountain, and then he got banned. Yeah, people are just like, people do dumb shit for internet clout.
Honestly, if you're that dumb, you deserve to get sick. That's my take on it. Like, this is natural selection at its finest. They shouldn't have banned him. They should have encouraged him to drink more. It's just Darwinism. Like, it's just leave him to do the most stupid shit that he's going to do, because if he, if he does it to himself and then he passes, that's on him. Like that, but obviously flicking coins into a pool isn't that fucking stupid, but it's pretty up there. Like, I'm watching these tourists here behind this. It's like scaffolding and like Pyrex, I guess, like just real thick plastic, kind of like sheet glass, but not really. And there's scaffolding around this pool, and it's pressboard and PVC, and it just looks terrible. It's very small, but there's still like a bunch of tourists lined up to flick, and there's tons of coins in there. Instead of like, flicking it into the fountain, which is kind of like tradition, they flick it into the pool, because I'm pretty sure like the whole point of flicking the coins into the Trevi Fountain is to like make a wish, and you're supposed to have like good luck or whatever, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of the buzz. But they've
I wish for 100,000 FIFA points, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that's the kind of stuff you want to be wishing for.
Yeah.
So this is what it says. Tourists eager to return to the Eternal City are being forced to toss coins over plastic barriers into a small makeshift pool in front of Rome's Trevi Fountain, while the attraction is being drained for maintenance. The rectangular box, adorned and showing its plywood finish, has elicited mixed reactions. I think it's a very sweet gesture that people can still do that. This chick visited from the Netherlands, a cashless traveler. She was taking a pass. It's like, you didn't even bring coins. You don't get a fucking say. You don't get to sit there and be like, oh, I think it's nice. You're not there to flick coins. You're there to be fucking irritating. Honestly, just don't go to the Trevi Fountain if you're not there for the real reason. Others, like Daniela Carbon, found the substitute pool, quote-unquote, ugly, yet she gave her kids some coins to throw in anyway. Quote, we have to please the children, quote. City law has it that tossing... Exactly. City law has it that tossing a coin into the Baroque fountain will ensure a return trip to Rome. This tradition generates an estimated 1.5 million euros annually, which has then been donated to the Catholic charity Caritas for the last 15 years. I don't know what that is.
I'm not throwing any of my euros into a fountain. I'm Baroque as it is.
Bro, honestly, throwing a euro is like throwing $5 New Zealand dollars. Like, it's broke boy season, bro. If we're going to Italy, I might even scoop some euros out of the Trevi Fountain. Fuck's sake.
Me too. If we run out of spending money, that's a plan B.
Yeah, we're going swimming. That's what we're doing. To manage the overwhelming number of tourists visiting the fountain, Rome city officials have devised a plan to block off the area around the fountain. Visitors will be required to book online and pay a fee of €2 or $2.20 US to get in. Once they're inside, oh Christ, sorry. Once they're inside, they have 30 minutes to enjoy the fountain. So after the renovations are done, yeah, if we make our way to Italy and we find ourselves in Rome, and we go for a bit of a saunter over to the Trevi Fountain, not only do we have to pay €2 to get in. Let me just pull up, Jamie. Pull up how much New Zealand dollars is to euros. And let's just have
Jamie, pull up that guy. Pull up the guy running into a deer. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Jamie, pull up that guy driving into a deer real quick.
Jamie, pull up that guy being decapitated by a penguin.
Oh, check this out though. I won a Formula One Grand Prix.
Was that Temu?
Absolutely.
It looks very Temu. So
I've
€2
won more Grand Prix than Lance Stroll.
That's not a hard ask, actually. The €2 that we would spend to get into the Trevi Fountain would cost us a whopping $3.58 New Zealand, right? Plus the one or two. So we're throwing. Are we throwing €1 each? That's €4, right? And then we're getting a coffee, aren't we? Or a hot chocolate in your case.
I was going to say I'm getting a fucking hot chocolate, that's for shizzle.
Yeah. So at the very least, just to visit the Trevi Fountain is going to cost us €10. That's $17.90. Okay, I don't know if I want to flick a coin that bad. You know, like I'd rather go to the Colosseum.
That's a Macca's breakfast hunger buster right there.
Honestly, with all the trimmings. With all the trimmings, and I've had enough of this of these gorging prices. It's just wild.
On this motherfucking plane.
Oh,
as you said, you've had enough. Yeah.
Bringing it back to your city. A New Zealand city waves goodbye to its disturbing giant hand sculpture that many have come to love.
I didn't even know there was a hand sculpture.
On the roof of the Wellington Art Gallery, there is a face in the back of a hand.
Oh, yeah.
Stands on two fingers.
Right,
apparently they've taken it down, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
When did that happen?
I mean, I'm not going to miss it.
Oh, it happened.
But I do remember looking at it and being like, that's weird. So
yeah, that is kind of gross.
Yeah.
He's the world's tallest teen, and he's set to make basketball history. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck. I know we covered the Timothée Chalamet look-alike contest last week.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh, in TikTok news, I had it hasn't gone viral because I'm being constantly suppressed, but that's just how things go. But I connected myself to
conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. No, I'm being suppressed because
the government just doesn't want you to see my TikToks, okay? Because I'm gonna open your mind up to the real world. I'm the red pill.
I've actually been shadow banned because I'm so inconsistent with posting, and then I've had a couple of bits of content taken down, like Pablo Escobar video and Jeffrey Dahmer's video and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I haven't posted in months.
Yeah,
so I probably am.
A while.
Yeah.
But I found some.
Sorry, you connected to Mooding?
Recent success. Yeah, connected to Mooding, and I was quite surprised because I'd seen some videos, but I hadn't been like properly introduced, as it were. But people really seem to dig it, man. They go nuts for it.
Yeah, because now there's more than one Mooding. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Have you seen Jamie? Pull up other Moodings.
Yeah. Jamie, pull up Haggis, the other baby hippo in Scotland. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Have you? Are you sure?
Yeah, there is another baby hippo called Haggis.
Yeah, so that's one of the headlines I've got in front of me here too. Two adorable pygmy hippos pitted against each other in cuteness contest, and there's legions of fans for both sides. Some people say Moodang, others say Haggis. Haggis.
I'm pretty sure there's like 4 or 5 others.
Haggis looks really small and potato-like, whereas Moodang has personality. She is not afraid to bite her zookeeper.
I feel bad because Moodang has like siblings, Mooding has, I believe, an older brother and a younger sister or something, and apparently they have just as much personality. But because Mooding bit a zookeeper, she gets all the praise. I think it's a bit rude.
That's just how
I'm
that
on Team
goes.
Haggis though. I'm on Team
Are you
Haggis.
rocking Team Haggis, my guy?
I'm Team Haggis.
What the fuck? That's terrible.
But
Mooding all the way.
that's for Gran. That's for Gran. Actually, Gran would be on Team Haggis. Let's be real.
Yeah, actually, that tracks for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Mooding, more like Hooding.
That was terrible. So that unfortunately brings me to all of the headlines that I had.
Yeah.
And that's about. So we've covered quite a bit. Obviously, apologies for last week. We started. We didn't really do any research. We jumped on a call anyway, and then we were just like, you know what? Let's just have a yarn and see what happens. And then we dove so deep into preparing for this UK trip that we forgot we were even recording, and we just started like, oh, what days is this game on and whatever else, and it just sort of faded into the background, and then we were like, oh yeah, that's right. Also, we're filming an episode right now.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. It's just like, oh fuck, we've ruined it.
I do have some gaming news though. Some
you do?
gaming news, hot off the press. Don't touch it; you'll burn your fingers.
Hot burnies.
Hot burnies. Shadow, and that's what I reckon for that line. So Sony has committed to releasing a single-player video game every year from 2025 onwards, which is huge news. Because a lot of video game companies are focusing on multiplayer and extorting every last cent out of its customer and fan base. So now with Sony just committing to that is huge, because obviously they make some of the best single-player games out there currently that are not heavily monetized with microtransactions or anything like that. So it's going to be big for gaming. I'm looking forward to, I don't know, probably Jack and Daxter remake. I don't know, that'd be kind of cool.
I'd be keen for that actually.
Yeah. Actually, I just saw that I have Crash Bandicoot 4 in my PlayStation library too. So that goes pretty hard. But yeah. Oh, and Borderlands 4. Not the Borderlands movie, because fuck that piece of trash. Borderlands 4 is coming out hopefully soon, so me and the bro, we're going to jam that together, as is tradition, because we have played every other Borderlands together, along with Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which is heavily underrated, in my opinion.
That's a big oosh.
Big oosh. I think that's it, really. That's the major piece of gaming news that I had.
I don't really have any gaming news, to be honest. I recently got back into lab, went and bought myself a new controller, so that's kind of pushed me in the direction of jamming a little bit more on the PS4. I tried to stream on TikTok and Twitch last week, and TikTok
PS5?
ran fine. What did I say?
PS4.
Ah, right. Yeah, so I'm getting slowly but surely back into jamming some PS4. But yeah, I tried to stream on Twitch and TikTok last week, but the internet I have outside is not as strong as I thought. I could stream to TikTok okay by itself, but yeah, Twitch just couldn't handle both. And I wasn't even playing an online game, so I'll have to figure out how to fix that. But if you stuck around till this long in the episode, head over to Twitch and follow your boy BB Malloy. It's always a good time.
Streaming every Wednesday at 8:30.
That's right. Every Wednesday, 8:30, Kingdom Hearts, Simpsons Hit and Run, whatever vintage games I could be bothered playing at the time. But yeah, so I feel like that brings us to the end of the episode. I'm pretty satisfied with my care.
Yeah, no, me too. I actually need to go for a shit, so I'm kind of glad.
That's fair, actually.
That's we're finishing up. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. All right, well, I'm going to sign off as I always do in this podcast, and I'm just going to wish you all a fantastic Oosh.
Oosh as well. I'm going to hit the old Ringo Starr and say peace and love, and because the bro's in his 80s and he's still rocking that.
That's true.
Peace and love to our listener. Thanks, Mum.
To our single listener. Thanks, Mum.
Thanks, Mum.
And, Oosh.
Oosh.